Hello everyone, how are you liking Metaphor ReFantazio? I've been thinking for a while now, but for me personally, this is my definite game of the year of 2024. It pushes pretty much every button for me, as a JRPG fan or a video game fan in general. The story beat is very much well done, the characters introduced keeps getting better and better as the story progresses, and the combat, dungeons, and the archetype system is very addicting, and that is where I want to talk about in this video. I have made several videos before about quote-unquote how to build a persona with multiple personas in the Persona series. While they might not be the best built persona ever conceived, I enjoy trying to figure out how to make personas enjoyable to play while also making them viable up to late game, even if some of them are early game personas. Due to that, I kinda just self-proclaim myself a quote-unquote persona builder, if that actually makes any sense. Then comes the highly anticipated Metaphor ReFantazio, an atlus game with no persona or demons, but is now replaced with an archetype system. At first, for me personally, I was kinda skeptical about it since they don't really resemble demons or personas, as they take names from those basic RPG jobs, but I am willing to give them a chance to experiment on new things. So, for the release of Metaphor ReFantazio, here are my thoughts on the archetype system and how much I could possibly talk about the system. The archetype system is very close to a job system. Many people said that the archetype system is very close to Etrian Odyssey's job system, but I am ashamed of myself that I haven't played any Etrian Odyssey games before. What I have played before with the most similar system though is Grand Blue Fantasy, not Relinked or Versus, the original gacha game. Yeah, I've played Grand Blue Fantasy since 2017. Thank you for your condolences. But I've quit already, so I'm fine. Point is that the archetype system is a very discernible system since it has the basic fantasy RPG job line, so it felt intuitive. We have the warrior, which is the strength damage dealer, utilizing slash damage, the mage, which uses magic to exploit elemental weaknesses, even to the thief job line, which is the high agility job with capabilities of stealing. Not only that, the archetype system also provides some crazy job lines as well, such as the merchant that stacks the luck stat and allows their magic ability to critically hit to utilize that luck stat and also use money instead of MP. Some crazily creative job lines like this exist beyond that, and they're great because they felt intuitive as well. But I'm more excited about how this archetype system can be built in a similar vein as a persona. How can the archetype system be built similar to persona building? So to achieve that, we have to look at how the archetype system differs from the persona system. First, archetypes are very limited, as they are only 14 archetype lineages, and a total of 46 unique archetypes, including the character-specific ones. It is unlike the hundreds of personas in Persona games or demons in an SMT game. Archetype is very limited, but on the bright side, they act as specific roles for whatever you need in a party. Plus, every party members had access to the archetype system, unlike the Persona system in modern Persona that locks it with the main character. So, as a result, archetype choices for each party member and the combination of those archetypes in battle is the game. It is further amplified by the existence of synthesis skills, which is a system of combining archetype abilities to cast much more powerful skills that are not available otherwise. These do cost a lot more MP and turn icons, where the press turn battle system values a lot, but these synthesis skills are very much worth it as they can turn the tides of a battle in dire need. It honestly is a fairly straightforward piece of battle mechanic, but it gets you hooked on it because it feels like it is complex because it keeps on giving more synthesis skills as you grow your party. Like, every archetype has their own pool of synthesis skills, and each of them can be activated from different combinations of archetype in your party, making experimenting on combinations of party members so much more rewarding and addicting. Now, people might think that the synthesis skills system might feel pretty bad at first because it kinda locks you into a specific archetype just for synthesis skills. But this is where the basic archetype skills and inheriting skills come into play. Remember in Persona where some persona just have unique skills that one persona has and isn't inheritable? Well, in Metaphor ReFantazio, almost all skills are technically unique, but are inheritable to encourage that part of building a team with a specific combination of archetypes. That's pretty much how this game gets addicting really. Every time you get a quest in the game that requires you to go to a dungeon, you get to buy information about the monsters in that dungeon from an informant before, to learn about the strengths and weaknesses of the monster there. By doing that, you get to experiment on your party. What archetypes are you going to use for your party members to better exploit the monster's weaknesses? Which archetype should you avoid to prevent unnecessary accidents in the dungeons? It's as if my critique on Persona 3 Reload's optional super boss was taken into account, where I think it is a bad design to not give context clues or information on the boss before the boss battle itself, that you are required to hit your head against the wall to beat it. In Metaphor ReFantazio's case, not only does the whole gameplay loop encourages you to experiment on your archetypes, it is also intuitive with the presence of informants, and ultimately, it's just a fun game to play. So as a result, contrary to Persona's approach of building a persona in detail, where you scrounge the optimal skills from personas or skill cards to be fed into one specific persona, Archetype's approach in building is more simpler yet wide, where you do seek out skills from other archetypes as well, but also think out other party members' archetype as well to complement where the other archetype is weak to and to achieve specific synthesis skills to push out the victory. So, in the name of experimentation of archetypes, I can see myself making more videos examining all the different archetypes in the future. I can see myself explaining what each archetype lineage does, what their niches are, which archetype they can be paired with to get the synthesis skills going, and what would be the ideal skills from other archetypes to be inherited to the certain archetype to get a better understanding of that archetype gameplay. Of course, just like with personas, my interpretations on the archetypes won't be the ultimate build guide for those archetypes because 1. Every battle is different and requires different tools to beat them, and 2. Your playstyle is your playstyle, meaning that I can't completely control how you play, and I intend not to, as it can seep the fun of the game. However, I hope this insight of me thinking about how to build an archetype can be enlightening to your gameplay as well, and I hope you have fun with Metaphor ReFantazio, my personal game of the year of 2024, and possibly my favorite Atlus game ever.